Hi, I'm Shelley Lane. Welcome to the Magic Bus. I'm so glad that you've joined us. STS and the Women Under Construction Network power the Magic Bus. It's going to be a great episode and it's a great year. So in the meantime...
Hello? Hey, girl. Hey.
And Cece will be joining us for the bus ride today. That's how we roll. Hey, Cece.
Hey, Shelley. Hello, everyone.
Happy New Year. It's a great year. It's a great episode. In this episode, it's called Destination Change, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Changing people's lives. Destination Change. It's Magic Bus time. Come ride with us. We were in the midst of figuring out New Year's resolutions for the Magic Bus when around Christmas, we got a call from none other than Mayor Randall Woodfin's office, letting us know that he was ready to ride the Magic Bus. We pulled up to City Hall. I was a little nervous, but things settled as I watched the mayor exit City Hall and approach me and the doors of the Magic Bus. Mayor Randall Woodfin, a Birmingham native, graduated from Morehouse College, and he is Birmingham's youngest mayor. It was exciting to meet and hear the mayor's passion for people, to hear about the role that he plays in bringing about change in the city and ultimately changing the lives of its residents. So excited that you are here and that you're talking on the Magic Bus.
Happy to be here.
I'm glad that you are. When you say putting people first, how did it look then when you first became mayor?
So when I was in my early 20s, I was a part of an organization that was supposed to produce results for the people we represented. It turns out the leadership at the time, the leader of the organization, had this saying that we, the leaders, won, everybody else zero. People laughed about it, but that mindset wasn't cool. And so I committed to myself that if I ever had the opportunity to be in a leadership position, that I would make sure I always put the people first. So putting people first came from the simple notion of ambition falls in one or two camps. It falls into the camp of you're doing it for a purpose and on behalf of people, or you're doing it for yourself. So my ambition is driven towards the people I serve. You keep them in mind, you put them first, everything else works out.
We drove to the Civil Rights District and witnessed his love and appreciation for the civil rights icon, Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth.
I know I am standing on the shoulders of giants to pave the way for me to even sit in the position of mayor. The second thing, sitting in that seat, knowing that he fought against Bull Connor, who was the mayor of public safety, that's heavy. But that requires me to know what my responsibility is to make sure that I use that seat in such a way that I fight for people in a positive way, not hampering and suppressing the people. So I carry that every single day I walk in City Hall, knowing that there are mayors before me that were intentional about suppressing Black people in this city, and now I represent the fourth Blackest city in America.
He also interjected great fun and humor about his childhood and getting in trouble on the school bus.
Yeah, I got a snippet of mischief.
Okay.
Back in elementary school, horse playing on the bus, got in trouble.
As the conversation went deeper, we asked Mayor Woodfin about his thoughts on the issues of poverty and homelessness in the city. He responded with such heartfelt conviction and talked about his commitment to help and what his administration had done for the Firehouse shelter.
Yeah, I think in my position as mayor, acknowledging that there are limited tax dollars on what I can or can't do, I am still of the belief that I have a responsibility and role to take care of everybody, including those who don't have a home. Especially during the holiday, I think one of the things we've done is to let people know, as it relates to emergency shelter, short-term housing. We've opened up city facilities We've given $1 million to the Firehouse shelter to expand the number of beds. But we will continue to be diligent in also finding employment opportunities for our homeless community, as well as mental health resources for our homeless community, and then eventually work towards long-term housing to make sure they don't have to stay out here and remain on the streets.
What the mayor said put us in the mind of finding out more about homelessness. So we packed our bags and went on a search. Our search led us on an adventure and discovery that ended up being much deeper. The Magic Bus team was now driving down the road called Destination Change. We were scheduled to shoot this episode immediately, but it rained for several days and the temperatures were close to freezing. While I was home in the warmth, waiting for the weather to cooperate, for the first time I thought, the homeless don't have the luxury of escaping the elements. Rain, snow, heat, or cold, they are homeless. Finally, the weather broke and we had summer temperatures in December and January. While on our journey, we met Harvey Jones, a retired Marine and advocate for veterans and the homeless. Harvey has worked with the homeless, distributing life-giving backpacks for 4 years through his nonprofit organization, the Eagle Foundation, and Harvey came along for the ride. Well, hey, we're so glad that you joined us to be a part of the Magic Bus today.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to let me share my story with you.
This is going to be an interesting ride, and I definitely want to hear your story. But I noticed you have a backpack there.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the backpack. What's that all about?
Well, basically, about 4.5 years ago, I decided to do something about the people on the side of the road with the little sign that says, "We'll work for food," or "Give me money." I decided that money wasn't something I really wanted to do, so I wanted to share something with them and hopefully give them a little inspiration and meet some of their needs. Basically, what I've got in here, this first bag I have here contains toilet articles, some of the basic essentials that you would need, to survive. Got some hand warmers, feet warmers, a Mylar blanket, keeps them warm at night, toothpaste, toothbrush, foot powder, deodorant, soap, just some of the basic needs. You have Vaseline, you can use that for lubricant, toilet tissue, right? Pair of wool socks.
Okay, to keep their feet warm.
Right.
And I've noticed that just in terms of homelessness, that the biggest thing that people need is to change their socks. Even in the military, they'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, you have to keep your feet dry.
Keep your feet dry.
Yeah. And then I've got another bag here that has non-perishable food items in them. I have things like juice and crackers and Vienna sausage, peanut butter, energy bars, just Pop-Tarts or whatever, something that they wouldn't have to cook and worry about, having to deal with that. A couple of washcloths, for when they do find a place where they can clean themselves up.
And why did you decide to do this?
Because the people that are homeless out there don't have, the basic needs, basic necessities that we, like you said, we take for granted. So instead of giving them money that possibly they could use to buy alcohol, cigarettes, and different things, I'm giving them something that they can actually utilize.
Okay.
And most importantly, in my opinion, is this book here.
The Bible, yes.
I give them that. God loves them. And the key to our society being productive is two things: respect and love. Okay. A lot of people don't respect them, and nobody's sharing love with them. And every Christian should be doing something to show love. So that's just my way of sharing that with the homeless people, because we've got too many of them out here living on the streets. And I just want to show a little bit of love, letting my light shine.
There are many shelters in the city, but because the mayor talked about Firehouse, we made that our starting and end point. Unscripted and unannounced, we drove up, got out, and went inside. And the executive director and Victoria, a homeless survivor, who was just joining the staff team at Firehouse, were happy to chat with us. Being uneducated and unaware of the plight of the homeless, we assumed that homeless just meant not having a home. Anne and Victoria gave us 3 or 4 distinct, eye-opening categories. Okay, so hi, Anne.
Hi.
I want to find out, tell me your role, first of all.
I'm the Executive Director of Cooperative Downtown Ministries, lovingly known as the Firehouse Shelter.
I've been through a lot of trials in my life, prison, homelessness, not able to eat, and now I'm employed with my own place to live, and my supervisor thought it would be a good idea because my story is fresh.
Okay, all right. And you've been here, you said, for, is it 2000?
Since 2011, October of 2011, and executive director since 2013.
Talk about the fact of, no, you said you went to prison. How did that happen, Victoria?
I was in an abusive relationship and it turned really, really sour, and I ended up in prison and he ended up dead.
God, okay.
I did 22 and a half years on a 35-year sentence.
Okay, and now you're out at this point, but you're on staff with Firehouse. How did that happen?
I did all my community service hours with the parole board here at the Firehouse. I got 91 hours. I wasn't supposed to turn in but 80. My community service hours and my volunteer work, except for sleeping here because this is a men's shelter only, I pretty much lived here.
Okay.
And I was always on them about, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. And finally they hired me, and I've been on staff since December 11th.
Okay. We came here partially because the mayor mentioned in our interview with him, which was great, the fact that you all had received quite a bit of money. I want to hear about what your thoughts are in terms of the population that you serve. Who is it that you're serving for someone who doesn't know what Firehouse does?
Absolutely. So the city of Birmingham was incredibly gracious in helping with our capital campaign to build a new firehouse shelter. And the most important component of that is that we've simply outgrown this building. The firehouse has served the chronically homeless since 1983. The first night, December 21st, 1983, we served 12 men in the basement of a church downtown. Today, we serve over 230 people all throughout the city, and we do so in a caring and comprehensive manner. Now, the thing that sets the Firehouse apart is that we open doors when every other door has been shut. It runs pretty smoothly because people driving by might just see us as an emergency shelter, but to the people who stay here, this is their home, and so it fosters a lot of respect. And unfortunately, the need is just greater than this building can hold. And so we're hoping to upgrade our facilities, which is where the city of Birmingham came in, to be able to double that nightly capacity.
Tell me, you said something about the definition of homeless. Talk about that for me.
Yeah, so homelessness is really a spectrum, right? So we tend to put people in small boxes, and especially when you're dealing with something like homelessness, we have a view in our mind of what a homeless person might look like, might act like, what their situation might be. But in reality, there's a wide spectrum of causes and times. So
Literally homeless, we have chronically homeless, and then you have homeless.
Okay.
Literally homeless is...
Or homeless by definition.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. And so chronically homeless is if you've been on the streets.
Yeah.
And then when
if you have spent the night in a dwelling that is considered homelessness 4 or more times in 1 year, then you are chronically homeless.
A number of different people on the street, and we've learned that there are probably a couple of categories. You've named a few. One is the what I would call the intentional homeless, in the fact that they choose to live here or to live out on the street. The second would be the non-intentional or the circumstance homeless person.
Choosing to be homeless, it gets a little bit complicated because when someone chooses to be homeless, they're choosing a very difficult life.
Yes.
And so what we see is people that think they're making a choice, but in reality, it's really a lack of resources or a lack of hope. So oftentimes when people are choosing to be homeless, it's because they can't quite fit into a system that would allow them to be stably housed. So they don't have the tools in their toolbox.
Okay.
It would be rare, and it's not unheard of, but for someone to actually choose to live out on the streets, it's risking death every single day. Homelessness does not lend itself to freedom. It's a lack of skill sets that are making people feel like it's a reasonable choice when in reality it's not. So it's a lack, in my point of view, the lack of affordable health care, both physical and mental health care, is the number one indicator.
While there, we had the opportunity to hear firsthand stories from men and women who were actively navigating the streets. Some individuals were willing to talk, but not be on camera because they had family members who did not know that they were homeless. We even encountered a husband and wife who both had jobs and were homeless while their 10 children were being cared for by several family members until they could get back on their feet. Then there was Sharika. She had both a story and a message that challenged us all.
My name is Sharika Marie Fletcher. I'm 36 years old. Birmingham is my hometown.
Sharika, let me ask you this. What happened? How did you get out here? You're homeless right now.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
How I became homeless, my family has blackmailed me. My mama's husband raped and molested me as of a little girl. As I got older and got out of prison, they took my identification, got over $1 million worth of loans in my name. And it left me homeless out here, not by choice but by force. I'm out here by myself. I have to wonder when I'm getting this meal, when I'm able to bathe, when can I get behind a warm place that I can stay. One Roof has shut me down 10 times. I have had 4 Section 8 vouchers, and neither one of them had helped me to give me a place to stay. I'm being real, y'all. I just want Birmingham with the resources to step up and use those resources in the godly way to help the poor and the needy. I'm willing to get a crew up to clean up Birmingham, Alabama, all the trash, everything that's out here, to make our hometown better than what it is. We can't do it on our own. It's leading us brothers and sisters out here to do bad things just to keep a food in our mouth, clothes on our back, and somewhere to be safe from being out here because they're killing us left and right. So all you homeless people out here, never feel down, never feel low of the things that you're doing. Instead of the bad things you're doing, turn around and make it to good things. If I can do it, I know y'all can do it.
Close to the time that we were to leave, she allowed us to pray with her, and Harvey was able to give her a backpack and to give backpacks to several others. As we left Firehouse Shelter and I boarded the Magic Bus, my emotions and the emotions of the team were shaken. No one could have prepared us for what we saw that day. Before we began, we looked at homelessness as just a social issue. Many people do. But the mayor brought it to our attention about how much he cares about changing the plight of his community and the plight of the homeless.
So I grew up in a household that were never less than 8 people. My mom was like a super mom, not just for her children, but she was the caretaker for extended family, not just immediate family. So I remember the family members who were strung out on drugs. I remember the family members who were released and got out of prison that couldn't go anywhere else. I remember adult family members dying, so we had to take in other family members. Seeing how my mother took care of people, regardless of their circumstance, and providing shelter for them. And even with her limited resources, that stayed with me as an adult, that stayed with me as a leader, that stayed with me as mayor. I am in a position to help people, regardless of their circumstance. I don't care if a person's homeless. You do what you can, you do what's necessary to figure out a way to help a person that's down on their luck.
We set out with a theme of destination change, but really, it was us who came away changed.
Stay with us. We've got more on part 2 of Destination Change, the Magic Bus.